Our cover story tonight comes from 3 different continents. It's about 3 different leaders, but they're making the same demand. Make China pay. Hold it accountable for what the world is suffering. Ursula von der Leyen, Scott Morrison and Donald Trump. These are leaders of 3 powerful blocs in world politics. And they all seem to agree for once on one thing: an independent investigation into the origins of the coronavirus. America is conducting its own investigation. Australia has called for a global investigation, and now the President of the European Commission has backed that call. The European Commission is the executive arm of the European Union. Ursula von der Leyen is its president. She was speaking to an American network where she backed the call for a probe. Let me tell you exactly what she said, and I'm quoting, "I think this is important for all of us. I mean, for the whole world. It is important. You never know when the next virus is starting, so we all want for the next time. We have learned our lesson and we've established a system of early warning that really functions, and the whole world has to contribute to that." Not only does she want a probe, she wants China to join it. Fat chance of that happening, but Beijing cannot feign indifference anymore. The pressure is mounting and it's coming from all directions. Different countries are using different diplomatic levers to pressurize China. Australia, for instance, it has opened another front in its diplomatic tussle with the Chinese. Australia now wants to back Taiwan's entry into the World Health Organization, the WHO, something that China has been blocking. It's also a move that is bound to infuriate China. The relationship between Australia and China is already tense. It is now set to significantly worsen on the 17th of May. Why the 17th of May? That's the day when the World Health Assembly will meet. This is the annual gathering of WHO member countries, World Health Assembly. Australia plans to use this occasion to raise a demand, a call for a global independent review into the coronavirus outbreak. Last month, Australian Prime Minister Scott Morrison announced his intentions. Today, he has repeated his promise.
We know it started in China. We know it started in Wuhan. The most likely scenario that has been canvassed relates to wildlife wet markets, but that's a matter that would have to be thoroughly assessed. This is one of the reasons why it is important that we just have an objective, independent assessment of how this originated and learn the lessons from how that occurred. It's, I think, an entirely sensible suggestion. It's one that has broad-based support. It's one that is being recommended by the European Union to the World Health Assembly. It's one that a recommendation will be supporting and speaking to, and we think that's really necessary.
Despite the threats from China, Australia is not backing down. What about America? US President Donald Trump is going all guns blazing. He is looking for ways to punish China. Last night, he launched a fresh attack. The US president said that the virus could have leaked from a lab in China. Donald Trump said he has seen the evidence. Unfortunately for him, US intelligence also released a report saying it wasn't made in a lab. They're not sure of it. So if the president has seen the evidence, he clearly hasn't shared it with his intelligence team.
And my question is, have you seen anything at this point that gives you a high degree of confidence that the Wuhan Institute of Virology was the origin of this virus?
Yes, I have. Yes, I have. And I think that the World Health Organization should be ashamed of themselves because they're like the public relations agency for China.
Sometimes I tend to agree with him. This is an explosive claim. The reporters present there asked counter questions of Trump. Questions like, is the president insinuating that China intentionally let the virus spread? Donald Trump did not deny it.
Well, they could have done it, and I'm just saying, well, one of 2 things happened. They either didn't do it and, they couldn't do it from a competent standpoint, or they let it spread.
Trump's pronouncements make for great headlines, but here is a word of caution. Take these claims with a lump of salt. The US intelligence community is yet to come up with their final report. Trump does not like to wait. He is going after China. The intel can follow. The president is also looking for ways to strip China of its sovereign immunity. That's according to the US press. Trump is said to have privately discussed this with his aides. Sovereign immunity means that a government cannot be sued without its consent. China enjoys it, and obviously China will not give its consent to be sued. Now, Donald Trump is looking for ways to limit China's rights. This would allow the US government or the victims of this outbreak to sue China for damages. We've already seen at least 3 lawsuits being filed in America. 2 are class action lawsuits. 1 lawsuit has been filed by the state of Missouri. Now, the question is this: can America do what Donald Trump wants? Can China be made to lose its sovereign immunity? Legal experts say this will be very difficult to do. The US government will have to push a legislation to change the legal status of China, something that would violate international law. But history tells us that American leaders have scant regard for international law or norms. For once, they may be using this brazenness for the right reasons.